Who are you when you're not what you do? I recently walked away from a real estate career after 27 years, and what surprised me was how hard that was. Not financially, but emotionally. For quite a while, most of my attention had already moved into other businesses and other things I wanted to create. I knew where I wanted my energy to go, and still, I debated leaving real estate for way too long, which didn't even make good sense. It's not like I was making some irreversible decision. If someday I decided I wanted to practice real estate again, I can. So why was it so hard to let go? I finally realized I wasn't struggling to leave real estate. I was struggling to stop being a realtor. For 27 years, that had been part of the answer to the question, who are you? I'm a realtor. I'd built a career. I'd been successful. For much of that time, I was the primary support for a family of 4. So there was pride attached to that label, history, accomplishment, and probably some ego too. I even worried what other people would think. Would they be disappointed? Would they think I failed? Would they think I was quitting? And then I thought, 27 years is a pretty long time to do something before you're allowed to say, I think I'm ready to do something else. And that experience got me thinking about something much bigger. What happens when millions of people have to confront this? We're talking constantly right now about AI changing the workforce. Will AI take jobs? Which careers will disappear? What will people do for money? Those are important questions. But I think there's another question we're not talking about nearly enough. Who are people going to be when they're no longer what they do? Because we've built a culture where one of the first questions we ask someone is, what do you do? And somewhere along the way, what we do became who we are. I'm a realtor, I'm a teacher, I'm an attorney, I'm a technician, I'm a manager, I'm a doctor, I'm an accountant. But those are things you do. They're not who you are. And I wonder how many people are staying in careers they don't even like anymore because they can't imagine themselves without that label. Not because they can't leave, because they don't know who they would be if they did. I think people are going to see a ripple. As technology changes the way we work, I think there's going to be panic first. People will understandably worry about money and security, but after that comes something potentially much deeper, reevaluation. If I don't have to spend 50 hours a week doing this anymore, what do I want to do? What matters to me? What am I actually good at? What do I enjoy? What am I without the title? And it may go beyond work. Because if people suddenly have more time at home, they're going to spend more time with their families. And that brings up some uncomfortable questions too. Do I actually like the people I've built my life around? Do they like me? Do we know each other anymore? And maybe the biggest one, do I like myself when I'm alone with me? That's where I think this technological revolution may become a very human one. We talk about AI as though it's the greatest impact on productivity. Maybe it won't be. Maybe one of its greatest impacts will be forcing millions of people to separate their identity from their occupation. And that can be terrifying, but it can also be freeing, because when I finally let the real estate label go, something interesting happened. I didn't disappear. I was still me. 27 years of experience didn't vanish. Everything I learned came with me. The relationships came with me, the skills came with me, the person I became during those years came with me. I didn't lose 27 years. I simply stopped requiring the next 27 to look like the previous 27. And maybe that's something we're all going to have to learn. Your career can be part of your story without becoming your identity. Your title can change. Your job can disappear. Your industry can transform. You can decide that something you once loved doesn't fit anymore. None of those things erase you. But if you've spent your entire life avoiding being alone with your own thoughts, that transition could be incredibly difficult. And that's one of the reasons I think the work we're doing with Source and Love is going to matter even more as the world changes. Because underneath nervous system regulation, breathing awareness and all the other things we talk about is something much simpler. Can you sit quietly with yourself and know who you are without needing the outside world to tell you? Without the business card, without the title, without the schedule, without anyone needing something from you? Who are you? I don't think AI is going to answer that question for us. I think it may force us to finally answer it for ourselves. And maybe that's not something we should fear. Maybe it's an opportunity, because eventually every identity we've borrowed from the outside world changes. Careers end, children grow up, relationships change, bodies change, roles change, life changes. And underneath all those labels, you're still here. Maybe the next chapter of the human experience isn't just learning how to work differently. Maybe it's learning that what you do is never the same thing as who you are.